Let's take a look at if you give a click on the writing view, the interface is obviously different. It starts with the main idea, and it's kind of like sentence strips. So watch what I can do. My favorites. I can add a sentence strip. Now notice it just adds this add idea, it adds it directly below it. So it's not like a subheading. So if you were just thinking of a variety of different topics, my favorites. I can't think of a topic right now. But if you wanted to make a subtopic, see the little arrow guy? Move right. So I could do the same thing. I could start typing sports. Add another topic. It adds it under the same level. So sports, movies, books, and food. And you can move these topics over to the left or to the right or indent them even more. If you want to get rid of one, you click on it and erase. Now notice it's the clicking. See, when you click once like this and you have the kind of hash marks around it, the dotted line, it's for typing. You need to click on the line so you get a solid line. That'll let you erase. I can also undo. So when you, unlike with the picture view, when you click the first time, it selects it, it thinks you're typing. So you got to click on the lines to select it for deletion. Okay? You can change things in this. I can change the font. I can change it to make it bold, italic, or underline. But it has to be selected like this. So watch. Bigger. Okay, so with the hash marks, the little dotted lines, it just lets you type. If you want to do any formatting in writing view, you need to see the solid line across. So now I can make sport gets bold, gets italics, gets underlined, changes the color. Okay? You can also change, put prefixes, hide the paper, which means you don't see the dotted lines around it. Now, the cool thing about this, I don't want to hide the paper, is if I go to picture view, watch what it does. I didn't show you this in picture view, but if in picture view you do something to it in picture view, so for example, if I now go to books and I make it a book and I go to food and I found my food pictures. If I change to writing view, so it's got the pencil here, see how it puts the icons next to it? So anything that you do in writing view will change to picture view. So if I clicked on the sports guy and moved it out like I was making sports a main idea, if I go to picture view, look what happens. Sport is now a main idea separate, not connected anymore, not a subtopic. This is a great way to teach kids like basic outlining. So whichever way it's easier for them to create, if it's easier to create them in a diagram, then you can switch it over to picture view and watch. I put sports back, so it is now a subtopic. I click on the picture view and it's back to being a subtopic and connected. So writing view and picture view are connected, which is really cool. Let's go back to the writing view and look at a couple other features in writing view. So notice, back to writing view, you don't have the symbol library. So if you want symbols next to things instead, you have to do that in picture view. You also have the name feature where you can click on the name and type the name in the box and put it centered. And once again, or left or right, once again, it does not show up on the document. It will show up when you print. So that's the basic of writing view. You can add other things underneath. So my favorites, if I wanted to for some reason annotate this and say, these are some of my favorite things. Let's see what happens when we go over into picture view. Notice it's not there. And you might be wondering why. Well, because look, there's not enough room for it to be in there and it didn't even adjust. If I make it bigger, it's not going to be there too. So just so know, writing view, if you put things annotations on the bottom line, they will not appear in picture view. Got it? So once again, you can add different writing strips, it just will add it at the same level. You can move them over. So if I wanted to go to sports and make these subtopics of sports, I could just arrow them over and I could write baseball and I could write football. And if I went back to my picture view, there they are. They are subtopics of sports, baseball and football. And if I change something here, like for example, I change this and I find sports. So you can see how you might use writing view and picture view together as well. Didn't find me what I wanted, so I'm going to go to done. So let's just go back to sports. And if I make this baseball, just selected the one baseball, a baseball mitt, and the football and a helmet, and I go back to picture view, you have the icons there and their subheadings. Now you can also select more than one sentence strip the same way you select symbols by holding the shift key down. So if I wanted to format all of the sports and make them unbold and unitalic, but make the font like red, all I did was hold the shift key down and select those. If I wanted to change something in my favorites, remember if I could click inside, it gives me the little dotted lines. I got to click on the line and I get the dark selection box around it, and I can make the font bigger. So if I want my favorites to be bigger, and maybe I want movies and books to be the same, I'm holding the shift key down, so I want movies, books, food, and sports. I want them to be all bold, and I want them a little bigger as well. Now watch, if I go back to my picture view, it's done the changes. The color of the font, the size, the bolding. So whatever you do in picture view, it changes to writing view. The one thing that doesn't is the annotations down at the bottom. So, brief review. When you click inside, it's so you can type. If you want to format, you have to click on the ends and see the blue box. You can hold the shift key down to select more than one thing. When you select items, you can go to the formatting bar and change fonts, or change sizes, or unbold or bold, italic, underline, change the color of the fonts. If you forget what any of these tools does, if you put your mouse over it, it'll remind you. Either if you don't have the sound on, you'll see the little box. If you do have the sound on, you hear the lady's voice. So just some basic things. Another thing is the reading feature. If you click on it, so notice it will read all. So this is really, really great if you want to hear the kids listen to something. Either you've typed something up. It helps with fluency. So all you do, give a click, listen and click. See how you see the little, supposed to be a little ear thing? Then you know when you click it's going to read. And you can also see that the ear thing is kind of grayed. So if I unclick it, it's not grayed and I don't get that ear icon over the words. Click on the ear, move it over, give a click. So to make it read, you see the ear grayed out. If you put your cursor over a word, you'll see the ear, and then you click. It will also work in picture view. But notice it's not reading the rest of what was in writing view, where here it reads everything. Got it? So just to review, anything you do in picture view will change it. Sorry. Anything you do in writing view except for this sub-writing or this annotation, whatever you'd like to call it, will appear in picture view. Whether you move something around, if I want to get rid of this, it was an extra thing I made, I click on it to select it with the blue, hit delete, and if I go to picture view, it's gone. So if you delete something from picture view, it deletes it from writing view. If you add something in picture view or writing view, it adds it. They connect to each other. Formatting, once again, is down here. Make sure you have the selection around. One other thing, you can publish in picture writing view, and publish is where would you want to send this to a word processor, Microsoft Word, or Scholastic keys. You can click OK, and it's going to open up Microsoft Word. And I have an older version on this computer I'm working on, and there is my document. See how there's the name up here? Like I told you, you couldn't see it until it's ready to print. And it also put the picture view down here. Now, I mean the writing view, which doesn't look the same, as it doesn't include the sentence strips. Okay, notice the headings are different, but it's not really down there. So I don't know how much you'd use the publishing for necessarily the writing view, but just know it's an option and you can play with it and see how it works. Okay, so those are the basics, a little more of the basics and the in-depth of the writing view. Remember, you can always rewind this and watch things again.